Hello students, in previous lecture we have studied properties of function. We proved that if f from a to b is a function and xy are subsets of ab, then f inverse of a in b is equal to f inverse x in f inverse y, f inverse of x intersection y equal to f inverse x intersection f inverse y. Additionally, if xy are subsets of a, then f of x union y equal to fx union f of y. F of x intersection y is subset of f of x intersection f of y, and equality hold if and if f is one function. Now, in this course real analysis, we have to define those functions whose codomain set is set of real number. We are interested in real valued function. So what is meant by real valued function? So for function, what is domain and codomain sets? Maybe, but for real valued function, real valued means it is a function which assign any element of domain set to real number only. Means for real valued function, we have to take codomain set to be set of real numbers or subset of real numbers. In addition, if domain set is also set of real number, codomain set is set of real number or subsets of real number, then that functions are known as real valued function of real variable or real function only. Now, if I have set of matrices as a domain set, and if I relate matrix to their determinant, matrix is related to first entry of that matrix. Means I am assigning matrix to just a single element, single real number. That's why that function is a real value function. If my X set is set of all peoples in the world, and if I relate every person to his height by that function, then height is a real number, or weight of that person, that is also real number. So function assigning a person to his weight or height are real valued function, but they are not real functions. So for these real valued functions, images are real numbers, and in real numbers we can take their addition, we can multiply that real number by other scalar, other real number. We can take the product of that two real number, we can define their quotients, we can take maximum of that two images or minimum of two images. So on basis of this, we will see now operations on real valued function. Okay. So what is a real valued function? If x is non-empty set and y is non-empty subset of R, then function f from x to R which assign or y, which assign every element of x to real number, is called as real valued function. Okay. If f comma g are functions from x to y are real valued functions, then f plus g, fg or kf or mod f are functions from x to y are defined as f plus g of x is equal to fx plus gx for every x belongs to x, f minus g of x equal to fx minus gx, scalar multiple kf times x, scalar multiple function kf is equal to k into fx, where k belongs to real number, whatever that k may be. Nextly, fg of x is equal to fx into gx, fx into gx. Here, instead of y, we will take R only, set of real numbers directly. Okay. Mod f function is defined as mod of fx, or in x belongs to x. I can talk about quotient function f by g of x is equal to fx upon gx if gx is not equal to 0 for all x belongs to x. This is the important condition while talking about quotient function. Till that we cannot define that one. Then as we are able to talk about maximum, so maximum fg function is defined as maximum of fx plus gx, maximum of fx comma gx, x varies in x. I can write this as f plus g of x minus plus mod of f minus g of x upon 2. fx plus gx. Now if fx is maximum, then fx is greater than equal to gx, then this fx minus gx is greater than equal to 0. So mod of f minus g of x is fx minus gx, and gx will get cancelled. In that case, we will get 2fx upon 2. That is fx only. If gx is maximum, then fx minus gx is negative. In that case, mod of f minus gx will become minus of fx minus gx, which is gx minus fx, and in that case fx will get cancelled and we will get 2gx upon 2, that is that one. Minimum of fg of x function is nothing but minimum fx comma gx of that two elements, which is equal to f plus g of x minus mod of f minus g of x upon 2. If minimum is fx, then this is fx plus gx. Minimum is fx means fx minus gx is negative. So mod of this will become minus of that. Okay. That will become gx minus fx. Gx minus fx. So gx will get cancelled and minus minus fx will become 2fx. So we will get fx. Why I am writing this maximum fj in terms of f plus g mod of f minus g, etc. We are familiar that algebra of continuous function, algebra of differentiable function, algebra of integrable functions. We know that addition of two continuous function is continuous, difference of two continuous function is continuous, modulus of continuous function is continuous. If f and g are two continuous functions, Then if you have to show that maximum of fg is continuous, then by using algebra of continuous functions, I can prove that maximum of fg is also continuous function, minimum of fg is also continuous on same line. Whenever f and g are differentiable function, then maximum fg, minimum fg are differentiable function. For that purpose, I have expressed this maximum fg in terms of f plus g and mod of f minus g function. Similarly, f minus g, and that's why these formulas are very important for maximum fg function, minimum fg function in terms of f plus g and mod of f minus g. So remember those formulas. Then we require one more real function which is important while studying real analysis course, and that function is nothing but characteristic function. So what is this characteristic function? If x is an empty set and A is subset of x, then characteristic function psi A from x to R, or just two elements say 0, 1, defined as psi x is equal to 1 if x belongs to A, and it is 0 if x doesn't belong to A, or if that is x belongs to A complement. So that characteristic function maps every element of A to 1 and all elements in A complement to 0. This function is called as characteristic function. What are the simple properties of characteristic function, which are also important? So I will just state that properties here. Properties or theorem. Let x be an empty set and AB are subsets of x. Then I can talk about psi A function, psi B function, psi A union B, psi A minus B, psi A intersection B, etc. Okay. Then first one, psi A union B is equal to maximum of psi A, psi B. Maximum of psi A, psi B function. Second, psi A intersection B is equal to minimum of psi A, psi B, which is equal to psi A intersects psi A into psi B also. Third, psi A minus B is nothing but psi A minus psi B. Psi A complement is equal to 1 minus psi A, and psi phi, okay, phi psi x is one constant function and psi phi is constant function 0. Here we'll verify second property. We'll verify second. Then you can easily prove other properties. So to show psi A intersection B is equal to minimum of psi A, psi B. So by definition, psi A intersection B x is 1 if x belongs to A intersection B and it is 0 if X doesn't belong to A intersection B. Case 1, if X belongs to A intersection B, then psi A intersection Bx is 1, psi X is 1 is equal to psi Bx is also 1. As X lies in A intersection B, X belongs to A, X belongs to B also. From this, psi A intersection B of X is equal to 1, which is equal to psi X into psi Bx, which is equal to minimum of psi X, psi Bx. Case 2, if X is not in intersection. Case 2, if X doesn't belong to A intersection B, then X doesn't belong to A or X doesn't belong to B. Implies X belongs to A intersection B complement and X belongs to A complement or X belongs to B complement. In this case, psi A intersection B X, it lies in A intersection B complement, so it is 0. And psi A X or psi B X is 0 because X lies in A complement or X lies in B complement. This implies psi A intersection B of X is equal to 0 is equal to minimum of psi X, psi Bx, because among the two, one must be 0 at least, and which is equal to psi X, psi Bx. From these cases, psi A intersection B must be equal to minimum of psi A, psi B is equal to psi A into psi B function. On same line, we can prove other properties. Now, we'll talk about equivalent sets. Equivalent sets. Two sets A and B are equivalent if there exists bijective function, bijection or 1-1 correspondence F from A to B. In that two sets, if there is some bijective function or 1-1 correspondence, then we call that two sets are to be equivalent sets. Notation: if A and B are equivalent sets, then we write A is equivalent to B. A is equivalent to B. Now, I function from A to A as IA is equal to A is bijective function. Is bijective implies A is equivalent to A. If A is equivalent to B implies there exists bijective function F from A to B, then F inverse from A to B, B to A is bijective. For every bijective function, we can define inverse function. Implies B is equivalent to A. So given set is always equivalent to itself. If I have two sets, A is equivalent to B, then B is also equivalent to A. If I have three sets, if A is equivalent to B, B equivalent to C, then there exists bijective functions, bijections F from A to B and G from B to C. We know that composition of two bijective functions is called bijective. Then G composite F from A to C is bijective function. This implies A is equivalent to C. So if I have collection of sets, X is set of collections, and if I define two sets A and B in that X are related if A is equivalent to B, then by that relation, for that relation, given set is always equivalent to itself. If A is equivalent to B, then B must be equivalent to A. If I have three sets such that A is equivalent to B, B equivalent to C, then A is also equivalent to C. Means the relation of equivalent sets defined on collection of sets is equivalence relation. A relation which is reflexive, symmetric, transitive is known as equivalence relation. So this is for reflexivity, this is for symmetry, and this condition is for transitivity. So recall definition of equivalence relation which I studied in FYBSc. So with this discussion on equivalence sets, we will stop our today's discussion. In next lecture, with help of this equivalence set, we will talk about finite set, infinite set, countable set, etc. Thank you very much. Good day.